behalf of the Grand Haven Civic Club, I want to welcome everybody tonight to our annual Candidates Night. A few housekeeping rules. For those of you who have never been here before, the men's and ladies' room are right outside the door and to your left. We have cake and coffee available for everyone. Please make yourself welcome and help yourself to it. There will be no videotaping of any kind by anyone other than Romeoville Public Television. Still photographs are okay, so if you've got a cell phone camera and you want to take a still photograph, that's fine, but no videotaping. For those of you in the television audience, this is an event for Grand Haven residents only. So if you're watching this on television and wondering, why didn't I hear about this? Why wasn't I welcome to attend this? It's because it's a private event that we hold for our residents here at Grand Haven. And we're making it available to the entire community so that hopefully everyone can make informed decisions when it comes to voting. Questions of the candidates will only be asked by Grand Haven residents. Candidates are not allowed to question one another, and the staffs of candidates, even if they are a Grand Haven resident, will not be available and will not be able to ask questions of the candidates. We're going to start off the evening with the candidates for library board. Each candidate is going to be allowed 3 minutes to make the presentation on their vision for their office. After all the candidates for that office have spoken, we're going to open it up to questions from the audience. Because again, the event is being televised, we're going to ask that you step to the microphones over here to ask your question. That way the people in the television audience can actually hear the question. In the past, when you've asked them from the audience, it's like mumble mumble and nobody knows what you're asking. So we'd ask you to step up here and ask your question. If you are uncomfortable or don't want to step up to the microphone, raise your hand. Members of the staff of the Civic Club have got pencils and 3x5 cards. Just write your question down and someone from the Civic Club will come up with a microphone and read your question off. Okay? Any questions for the evening? If not, again, welcome. And I believe that we only have one candidate present for the White Oak Library Board, which makes it easy to select who goes first. And I'm glad, because I'm a little disorganized tonight. So with that, I'd like to introduce Victor Zach, candidate for White Oak Library Board. Vic?
All right, I have my cheat sheet. So hello, and thank you for inviting me tonight. As I stand here, I see familiar faces and faces that I do not recognize. So for those of you that don't know me, let me take a moment of an opportunity to tell you a little bit something about myself. My name is Victor Zach, and I am running for the Library Board, White Oaks. It encompasses Crest Hill, Lockport, and Romeoville, where we all live. I've been a resident of Romeoville for the last 19 years. I am a graduate from Elmhurst College. I am married. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. My daughter goes to Joliet Junior College. She's a sophomore. She'll be graduating with an associate's degree. My son is in 8th grade. He plays baseball at AVM. My other son is a senior in high school, and he plays baseball. We are very much involved in our children's lives. As the kids get older, I want to get involved in the community and do something and give back a little bit. I'm involved with St. Andrew's Church, which is in Romeoville. I'm a member of the Knights of Columbus. It's an organization that I choose to join for reasons that are bringing up your kids with religion. I'm a member of the Hampton Park SAC. It's an organization that has one goal, to raise money to give to children that need money, organizations. We don't turn anybody away that's from Romeoville. It's a great organization. We're involved a lot with our kids' sports because we feel that's important. You ask me why I want to run for library board. I want to pick and choose. I want to be involved. My first choice is to be involved in the community, and the library board is part of the Romeoville community. It is an important part. It helps kids read. It provides them with many services for seniors. It has great summer programs for residents of all ages. Secondly, people talk about taxes. The library board has a small portion of taxes. I would like to keep it down. I'm not going to sit here and say that going to be able to cut taxes or raise taxes. I would do our homework to keep everything down and give the services that we all want. Thirdly, I want equal representation for Romeoville. Right now, we have one representative, Nancy Hackett, out of 7 board members. Romeoville is one of the largest cities in Will County. This election is about Romeoville. When you sit there and you look and you realize there's 7 members, Romeoville consists of almost half the votes, the population. We don't have equal representation. Romeoville's a town. Again, I'm a local resident of Romeoville, and I'm asking for your support on April 9th. Vote for Victor Zach for Library Board. Thank you.
Hi, I just want to make sure none of the other candidates for Library Board are here tonight. You can't hear me. Thank you. No other candidates for Library Board. In that case, does anyone have any questions for Victor? Okay, thank you very much, Vic. Moving on, our next office is the Lockport Township Fire Protection District. And we have 4 candidates. So why don't we go with David? I'm gonna butcher your name. Palick? Palia. David Palia, and it's running for Lockport Fire Trustee. Thank you, David.
My name is David Pelia, candidate for Lockport Township Fire District. I'd like to thank the Grand Haven Homeowners Association and Ken Griffin for inviting me tonight. I am a lifelong resident of Lockport Township. My grandparents farmed a small farm on 135th and High Road in Romeoville. My great-aunt still lives at this site and will be 100 years old on April 7th. I was born and raised in Crest Hill, attended Cheney School and Lockport West High School, which is now Romeoville High School. After attending college, I began a teaching career at Lockport High School and moved to Lockport. Shortly thereafter, I got married to Lucy Ferlin of Joliet. Today we have 2 grown children. I retired from Lockport High School 6 years ago. When I first started teaching, the community was small: Crest Hill, Lockport, and Fairmont. Teachers knew most students and parents. I taught vocational classes, teaching students how to change a tire and build a house. Later in my teaching career, I became the career coordinator. Students were employed learning real-world skills. I taught vocational classes. That's what I get for looking back down. In addition, many teachers coached. I elected to do driver's education behind the wheel, which I still do today. I have worked for Lockport High School for 40 years. I became interested in the fire department when many students and friends were volunteer firefighters in the early 70s. This included Homer and Northwest fire districts. I enjoyed working on trucks and equipment. The fire department was small. Ambulance service was a taxi ride to the hospital. In 1987, I was appointed to the Lockport Township Fire and Ambulance District. The district consisted of Lockport, Crest Hill, Fairmont, and College View. We worked hard to bring in new equipment, training, and ambulance service for the residents of the district. Early in the 1980s, dreams were happening. The opening of Weber Road and the I-55 interchange, and the approval of I-355 would change the face of Lockport Township. The geography of the fire district represents a major industrial center. Approximately 80,000 people for the fire district. Approximately 20,000 people pass through this district a day. I-55, 355, 53, Weber Road. We have Lewis Airport, which is considered, not by many, but it's a very large airport, capable of jets coming in and out, and also accidents and whatever may happen. Chicago Sanitary Shipping Canal, a state prison, state routes, Route 30, Plainfield Road, Route 53, Broadway Street, Route 171, State Street, Route 7, 9th Street. My educational background, I received a BA and MS from Northern Illinois University, majoring in technology and education. In addition, I have attended Governor State University, National College of Education, Chicago State University, Joliet Junior College. I've held leadership roles in my teaching career and personal life. Lockport Township Fire District Trustee from 1987 to 1995. I'm currently the City Treasurer of Lockport. My volunteer activities include member of the Moose Lockport Joliet Rivals Club, Founders Club of Homer Township. In conclusion, mere seconds can mean the difference between life and death in an emergency. Now I am asking once again for your vote. Please return me to a seat on the Lockport Township Fire District Board so I may continue to enhance these vital services to the people. Advanced life-saving technology requires constant training for paramedics and firemen. Speedy response time requires fire stations and accurate dispatching. Rescue and firefighting requires training and equipment. Fairness and taxation and fees, that's my role as a trustee. I will work with taxpayers, state reps to provide the services necessary, and I thank Grand Haven Association.
Thank you very much, David. Our next candidate, and again, I remind you that when all the candidates for that office have spoken, we'll take questions for all of them, will be Barb Delaney. Barb?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the Civic Committee of Grand Haven for extending the invitation for all of us candidates to come and speak before you this evening. My name is Barb Delaney. I am running for the position of Lockport Township Fire District Board. A little bit of personal information about myself. I have been married to my husband, Peter, for the past 25 years. We have one adult daughter and 3 beautiful grandchildren. I am a lifelong resident of the Will County area. My husband and I have spent the last 22 years residing in the city of Crest Hill. I am a graduate of Joliet Township High School and Joliet Junior College. My husband and I have a small construction business in the Crest Hill area, and we will be celebrating this June our 30 years in business. Government experience and accomplishments that I have. I have served on the board of Joliet Junior College for the past 6 years, and my final 2 years serving as the board chair. In the past 5 years, Joliet Junior College has completed a major multi-million-dollar master plan project with 6 new buildings and 1 additional building to be yet completed to better serve our students and the residents of JJC's district. We have maintained a balanced budget throughout this entire project with the help of many partners, you the taxpayers, and our students. I have worked with the Veterans Alliance to help start an initiative to honor our veterans that gave service to our country and to be honored at all of our Joliet Junior College board meetings. I have brought transparency to the community by video streaming our board meetings on our website and broadcasting them on our local community television. Also, by reviewing our board policy to have citizens address the concerns of the JJC district at all of our open meetings. Community involvement is quite extensive for both my husband and myself. I am a member of the National Federation of Independent Business, the Crest Hill Chamber, Sylvania Women's Union, and have helped in many various fundraising activities, helping through the March of Dimes, Habitat for Humanity, the Guardian Angel Home, Lamb's Fold, and Stepping Stones, just to name a few. The question that all candidates get usually are, why are you running for this position? One of my goals would be to work to instill fiscal responsible practices and to remain the fire board to have a balanced budget, just like I have at Joliet Junior College. I would like to increase transparency, as I did at Joliet Junior College. Also, I would like to seek the size of the board to increase from 3 members to 5 members. So I guess in closing, I would ask you to make a good decision on April 9th to restore the integrity to the Lockport Township Fire Board and to ensure continuing excellence of our first responders. Thank you.
As you can see, my sign-in sheet is kind of a mess here. So, Barb, you are running for Lockport Fire Board, correct? Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. Our next candidate for Lockport Township Fire Protection District is Rudy Jezik. Rudy?
Okay, good evening, everybody. Again, as my introduction, I'm Rudy Jezik. I'm running for the trustee of the Lockport Township Fire Protection District. I'm a resident of Carolina, a neighbor of yours. Little background, I'm a retired sergeant from Chicago Police Department. I'm involved in public safety as far as emergency management, radio communications, public safety radio communications. Oh. How's this coming along? A little better? Okay. And besides public safety radio communications, also from the Chicago 911 system. So I'm a transplant. I came here in '98. I live in Caroline. I'm presently the president of my homeowners association, vice president of the Caroline Master Association. I'm involved in a lot of emergency management activities. And one of the major goals in regards to the position of trustee is, number one, to make sure you get the best emergency services possible. To ensure that, again, monies are spent wisely on the budget, that the professional training of the personnel continues, and also the long term is to have adequate personnel on the fire apparatus. How many of here are former firefighters or paramedics? Okay. EMT. You know, these engines sometimes go out with 2 or 3 people on them, on calls. And the responsibility and work involved of getting on the scene for a fire incident requires a lot of manpower. Time is lost when you don't have the manpower with you. So eventually, I would hope to have the staffing increased a little bit so you have adequate personnel. Another thing you may want to know is every firefighter is a paramedic in the Lockport Fire District. They just finally came out to 6 stations. A lot of personnel are there, but still need adequate personnel to man the equipment. And that's basically it that I have right now. This is I've run in the past on this. Unfortunately, I always come in second, so that because I'm running against always heavy hitters, so I do the best I can. I'm a one-man band, and I do what I can. But again, my main purpose is to serve my community, the district, also to ensure that the residents of the community have the best emergency services available. And it's primarily ambulance service for all of us, me included, and the local areas over here. So with that, I thank you very much for inviting me here, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Rudy. Are there any other candidates for Lockport Township Fire Protection District here tonight? Pardon? Oh, yeah, Rudy Jezik. In fact, I'd like to ask Rudy, Barbara, and David to all please come up. And does anyone have any questions for any of the candidates from the Lockport Township Fire Protection District? Anyone? Yes. Would you like to go to the microphone, please? So the folks can hear in the audience. Thank you.
Rick Gugis, Grand Haven. What do you hope to implement, or what are you going to do that's going to be different in your term?
Want to start? Deborah or Barbara? Pardon me.
Just from my experience serving on a board for the past 6 years at Joliet Junior College, we have 7 board members. So that means 7 independent people bringing new ideas with opinions. What I see currently at the Lockport Fire Board, they have 3 people representing the district. You have more ideas, more solutions, more opinions when you have more people. I think it's a little bit more diplomatic if you have 5 people on that board. Okay, does that answer your question? Either one of you gentlemen?
Thank you. I'd like to see more cooperation between Lockport Fire District and the surrounding fire districts. Back to my statement, mere seconds mean life or death. It's happened to my family, friends of mine, many of them. 2 or 3 seconds is between dead and alive. So if you get more cooperation, we do have excellent intergovernmental agreements, but the number key is response time. Fire stations, those few minutes, those few seconds is everything. Believe me, you probably also know, in 1985, my father had a heart attack. We got to the hospital, and just in 1985, they sat there and did nothing. That was the technology at the time. Today, our firemen, our paramedics are doing what doctors used to do or couldn't even do back in '85. So I'd like to continue that, keep people alive. We have not just heart attacks, strokes. We have 53 accidents out here, people running into water, all kinds of things. Time is everything. So my stress is any way we can save people's lives.
And my point basically is to ensure the personnel continue to get their professional training. You want the best trained personnel responding to your calls, whether it's ambulance, paramedic, somebody gets involved in a bad accident on the street here, heart attacks. You want those people to be adequately trained in the best way that they can. And that's my, one of my goals is to ensure that training continues.
Any other questions for the fire district? If not, these are your candidates. Thank you all very much for coming tonight. One question that the audience may have is, why haven't we had the school districts represented here tonight? As many of you are aware, Grand Haven is in multiple, count them, 7 different school districts. We'd be here till next week if we had all the school district represented here tonight. So we have decided that in lieu of inviting all of those candidates, we'll rely on you and your good judgment to become informed as to the issues with your own particular school district. Because I, for example, am in the Plainfield School District and could really care less about listening to somebody from the Lockport School District come up here and talk. And I'm sure likewise those of you in Lockport wouldn't like to spend your time listening to somebody from the Plainfield School District talk. Well, you're right, but one of the complaints I hear the most is when you get your tax bill at the end of the year, the biggest chunk of it is you know what. So that's why the school district, even though they love us because you don't put any kids in this system, but they love taking our money, don't they? Yeah. Our next candidates are for Lockport Township, and we're going to start at the top of the ballot with the candidates for Lockport Township Supervisor. And our first candidate is John Barbush. Unlike some of the other elections, the township elections are in fact Democratic or Republican. So this is the only ballot where you will see a D or an R next to someone's name. John is the Republican candidate for supervisor.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Grand Haven Civic Club. I do appreciate being here and to address who I am and why I'm running for Township Supervisor. As he said, John Barbush. Some of you may know me because I've been coming to the Grand Haven Civic Club activities for many years now, producing some television shows in the past and being involved. I remember some people that I'm sure you do too. But listen, the reason I am here is because I want to introduce myself for those that either forgot or never knew, and that is John Barbush, a resident of Romeoville for 15 years. Before that, 4 years in Crest Hill, and then sometime before that, we raised our 3 children and lived and worked in Lockport for 6 years. Our kids went to the Ludwig grade school. For those of you watching from Lockport, you know where that's at on Archer. But so we have been in this township for 25 years. We have appreciated and enjoyed the benefits of Lockport Township for that long, for a quarter of a century. And now my wife and I, married for 40 years this year, have 9 grandchildren. So we are somewhat concerned about the school board, but I can tell you that we are most concerned about this township being as unified as we would like to see it. There is a lot of reason to be unified, and yet we are not. What could I possibly mean by saying such a thing? I can tell you that this 36 square mile area that we call Lockport Township, covering Romeoville and Crest Hill and Lockport and some unincorporated areas, with its 62 miles of roads that the township is responsible for, I can tell you that in 163 years of this township, nobody has ever been on that board from Romeoville. Now, I think there's something wrong with that. I think that maybe we should do something about that. I think it's time for a change, and that change can mean some very good things. Yes, we have an R next to our name, and that's not very much in vogue these days because, well, it just isn't. And I can tell you that since we've had consolidated elections since 1981, there has been 100% Democrats in office. Well, God bless them, and they've done a good job, I'm sure. I think we can do better. I think it's time that we do better, and I'd like to do that. Now, I can tell you that when we talk about transparency, there's a common word, and it's a buzzword, really, and we push that button often, but I'm talking about complete transparency. We don't get, for example, the board meetings in Romeoville on RPTV. We don't get that in Crest Hill. And it is in Lockport, and pretty much people are a little tired of it. And so, listen, I think that that is one of many media that's available to make things much more transparent for people. I have a plan. It's a 6-point plan, okay? I can tell you that it's the 6-point plan. You can ask me in the questions section. We're going to wrap it up here. But it does involve transparency and seniors. And there's a ticking time bomb that I'd like to tell you about if you ask me about it. And we can talk about that next. But again, I look forward to your vote. It's United Township. It's not a party, but it's your benefit if we can unite the township in complete transparency and benefit for the seniors, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you very much. And I hope to answer some questions in a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. The Democratic candidate for Township Supervisor is the incumbent, Ron Alberico. Ron?
Well, good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank you for having us all here today. This is a wonderful forum. Ken, thank you for having us. I am Ron Alberico. I'm a lifelong resident of Lockport Township. I've been married for over 32 years. I have 2 adult children that I raised in Lockport Township. I was first elected to the library board when I first decided to get involved with politics after working construction for over 30 years in the trades. I was elected in the library board, Splains Valley, in 2005, and I was elected as a trustee for the township in 2009, and I was appointed supervisor in 2011 when Judy Bodasich retired. Just to give you a little history of what township does, township is the oldest form of government in the United States. It was established in 1636, and we've always been proud that we're the closest to the people. Mr. Barbush said we are 36 square miles. That's correct, but we have 60,000 residents in Lockport Township. By law, Lockport Township government has three priorities that you have to take care of. The first being in the supervisor's office would be taking care of general assistance. General assistance, we provide financial assistance for those not eligible for any state or any federal monies. We provide food, rent, utility bills, that kind of thing for our residents. We also have to do property assessments, which our assessor's office does. We have road and bridge maintenance, which is our highway departments. Lockport Township has also developed many other programs to meet the needs of our residents. One of them I'm probably most proud of is our senior bus transportation, which will come and pick you up from your house, curb to curb, wheelchair accessible, bring you to your doctor, bring you shopping, and bring you back. Lockport Township was the first township in Will County to have this transportation, and we're still one of a handful that provide this transportation to our seniors. We also help fund our food pantries, our hospice for the terminally ill. We help with the Habitat for Humanity, our PACE bus, Dial-A-Ride for our disabled residents of the township, and our Meals on Wheels, which we this past year spent or fed over 1,500 residents on our emergency Meals on Wheels, which I'm pretty proud of. One of the other things we do with this township is we do our senior breakfast, which I know a lot of Grand Haven residents have come to that, and it's a very nice thing. I think we fed over 200 or 600 residents. And we've done this all staying within budget and always trying to lower our tax rate. That's probably that's stuff we've done. We've also put in this past year tornado sirens, and we did put bus shelters in the Fairmont area. We worked with Will County to help get grants for the sidewalks to the schools in Fairmont. Thank you for having me. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Are there any questions for either township candidates for township supervisor?
We put a new sirens in. Most of our township is covered already. The only area that wasn't covered was the northern end over by off of 171. The new siren that we put in is behind the American Legion Hall on 171 and 151st Street.
What will we have around here?
I believe you have one at the fire department down the road here. I believe there's also one. Yeah.
Any other questions for any of the candidates for supervisor? Would you like to come up to the microphone and ask that so that when he starts talking, folks at the television audience will know what the question was? Come on, John, up here.
I would like to hear the 6 points that you weren't able to talk about when you were...
Well, okay. Thank you for asking. I do appreciate that. Listen, I've been a volunteer for a long time in this town and in the township, and I've just recently been honored with an honorary doctorate for my lifetime achievements and contribution to society and human welfare, and I thought I'd share that with you. So I'm concerned about the United Township of Lockport because there are some things that need to be addressed. I did mention the first one is transparency. There's a story behind each one of these. The second point is a seniors property tax relief fund. A senior citizen should never, never be concerned or frightened about the idea of losing their home because they can't pay for the taxes. Listen, I know you got an asset freeze. Sure you do. You can cap that at age 65. And you even have a deduction for the, what's that, EAV? But the point is, the cost of living does not freeze. It continues to go up. And so I do believe for the health and well-being of our seniors, we need to have such a fund, okay, a tax relief fund. Now, the third point is a jobs relief or a jobs matching program Our unemployment is 9.6% in this township, and the underemployment is about 17%. It's huge, it's frightening, and people aren't talking about it because it's kind of scary and a little bit shameful. And listen, it can't be helped, but there's something we can do with all of the business growth we've had here in Romeoville. We can fix some of these problems. We really can. All we have to do is match the businesses for posting job opportunities with our residents. Here in Romeoville, Crest Hill, Lockport, Weber Road is a thoroughfare for most all of it anyway, and Route 53, of course. But listen, we can fix the problem by letting them know where they can come to for a common jobs matching service. I mentioned that there's a ticking time bomb. I'll get to that, but I'll tell you though real quick that there is a problem. 25% of this township has single-parent families, and so what we have, 24.9%. I said 25%. So what we have here is a situation where people are to the point where those, at least the single-parent families, are at working poor conditions. They're working hard, sometimes 2 jobs, can barely make ends meet. They need a little help. So how about a market, a grocery market, that allows them to come in and pay a $20 donation, take their grocery cart and push it through and fill it up maybe twice a month. How's that for a little extra help, helping the working poor keep their dignity and do better, right? So here's another point. The school districts need a little help, okay? And what we have is a ticking time bomb, I mentioned to you, and that is when you have so many people that are unemployed, when you have so many people that are working poor, and you have 25% that are single-parent families, when it happens, you know it does, when a parent, say the ex, is not able to make his payments, that's usually how it is, not able to make his payments to support, he misses a week or a month, usually what happens is the kids are withheld from him, and oftentimes what happens is he feels like his parental rights are being stepped on. And so if a person decides that one day he's had a few beers and he's going to go ahead and take matters into his own hands, it's possible that somebody might decide that he's going to go and get his kids from the school. Now that's a potential problem. We can be proactive and prevent that. Listen, school boards have their own governance, we know that, but there's 7 school districts, we talked about that, and all we have to do is be proactive and bring them together and have a meeting of the minds. I've talked to some and they said, oh, this is a good idea. So bring them together and talk about an armed guard, okay, a policeman at each school, not just the high school and junior high, even the grade schools. So let's prevent it, be proactive. And the final point is juvenile crime. We can do something about that, especially if we can help the unemployment, especially for the teenagers. So there's much more to tell you about that. Go to our website, unitedtownship.org, and you'll learn more about that. But I hope that answers your question, sir. 6 points. Thank you.
We have another question?
You made reference to division in the township. What impact, pro, con, would you have on any division in terms of a new school in Homer Glen?
In Homer Glen, sir?
There was a referendum previously, well, 5. So give me your pro or con on that situation in our township.
Okay, I can tell you that that school districts are in charge of that matter, and ultimately you are their boss. Okay, it's up to you to vote, become informed. So all I want to do, regardless of the issue, and that's a valid issue, all I want to do is facilitate communications. I'm talking about a multimedia plan where everybody can understand. Listen, not everyone reads the newspaper, but that should be included. You know, the Bugle says they're going to give me a weekly editorial column. I can stay in touch with you that way for those that read. For those that don't read, we'll have an RPTV program. We're also going to look at having RPTV show the board meetings in all 3 municipalities for a change. That would be good. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, so that's just a couple of ideas, but it is a multimedia plan, websites that are proactive and allowing you to interact with that website. So in other words, it's not just like most websites where the information is one direction out. Once you go to that, you get it, okay? It's kind of like a joke. Once you hear the punchline, you're done, right? So it's something that you can add to it. You can blog, you can communicate with it, you can post a picture, post a video if you'd like. If you see potholes that need to be fixed, shoot that pothole and put it on the website. So that's kind of interaction I'm talking, using technology to have a multimedia approach to communicating so that we can facilitate your vote. Okay? Thank you.
I guess I would like to say about, Mr. Barbush is correct, it is the high school, or it's the school boards that decide on the referendums for the school. But I am one of those people that did grow up in Cheney. I went to Cheney School. I did go to Lockport West. I was the last person from the Crest Hill to go to Lockport West, because that's when they changed it to Romeoville. So I understand the feeling of why Crest Hill doesn't want to pay for another school that they already paid for in Romeoville. I understand that thing, but I know it's a lot different today. I know there's a lot of feelings of maybe having Helmer Glen build their own school and de-annex from our school district. They say that's awfully hard, but nothing is impossible. So they could build their own school.
Thank you very much. In the interest of time, we're going to move on to the next candidates. All of our candidates, I hope, are going to be available in the lobby afterwards, and we've got plenty of cake and coffee left, I hope, so that any of you who have any questions that you'd like to take offline, they'll be available to answer them. Our next two candidates are the candidates for Highway Commissioner for Lockport Township. The first one is Norb Lykar. Norb?
Good evening, and thank you very much. Thank Grand Haven for having me here. This is probably about my third or fourth time. I've been on the Township Board for 20 years, and right now I am the current Lockport Township Highway Commissioner. I've been married for 43 years. I got 3 children, 4 grandchildren. I am retired from ComEd. I've been doing public service from grade schools, coaching to St. Joe's for 21 years with no kids there. In the township, I was one of the original board members when we started your senior bus program. I've been there through the hard times and the good times. As on the township board, if you look at your tax rate is very low compared to your other townships in the area. All of us that have been on the town board and currently on the town board represent you very well. We don't go out and spend. We spend only if we have to. We find revenues to buy things. It's not easy. Nobody wants to raise taxes. You don't want your taxes raised? We don't either. That's why your board today and myself on the highway board are very frugal with the money and spending. And one of the questions I had was, what's the township highway department facing? I'm going to be truthfully honest with you. There is no money nowhere. The state has no money. The federal government has a little money. So what I have to do, the bits and pieces that is out there, I already secured some grant money. So I can go ahead and improve. But it's very difficult. Everybody looks out there, well, we got a pothole here, pothole there. We're going to have them. It's the time of year. You got to be patient. Material, manpower, trucks, fuel, gravel. It's out of sight. You see the fuel prices now. You imagine we're running these big trucks out here with salt. You see them on the roads. It's very expensive. As a group, and as I've been on for 20 years, we're a very efficient group. I want to thank you very much. And like I say, this is my third or fourth time, and hopefully you remember me in April, and I'll have maybe another couple more times out here. Have a good night. Thank you.
Our next candidate for Township Highway Commissioner is John Zielinski. John?
Very good pronunciation. Yeah, no, you got it perfect. Thank you very much. My name is John Zielinski. I am a candidate for Lockport Township Highway Commissioner. Graduated from the University of West Florida with a BA degree in communications. I met my wife down there and brought her up to the snow belt. She reminds me at this time of year all the time. We've been married for 20 years. I started my own business right out of school, and as we progressed in our life together, we tried to have some kids and couldn't do it, and we became foster parents. And we became foster parents on a Monday, and we got a call from Catholic Charities on Tuesday and said we got a sibling group of 4. And we're like, whoa. So we took the 4 kids in. At that time, they were 6 months old, 1, 2, and 3.5. And now they are, see, I got to think because there's so many of them. They're 13, 15, 16, and 17. Getting ready for college. But we were fortunate enough to adopt them and keep them together. I am married to my wife for 20 years, and I've been a Lockport resident for 20 years. Because of the kids, I am very active in the youth organizations. I've been coaching out at Homer Stallion football for 12 years. I was a head coach for about 6 years. I was the director of the Junior Porter Wrestling program, so if I'm speaking too loud, let me know. I'll back up a little bit. I also coached out there for about 5 years. I was the president of Lockport Boys Baseball for 5 years and coached out there for about a total of 12 years. And I'm the current booster club president for the Lockport baseball high school baseball team. I'm a booster member of the wrestling and also football programs. I brought up the baseball program kind of last on purpose. When I took over the program, there were about 350 kids. We had 1 part-time travel team and 2 full-time travel teams. And in those 5 years, I had great boards with me. I'm not going to take all the credit myself. But we were able to rebuild 5 fields. We put in online registration. We bought new mowing equipment. We bought new field maintenance equipment, 3 new scoreboards. We built the program up. When I left that program, we had 650 kids in the program. We had 14 travel teams, and we did all of that without raising the fees. And I left them with about $43,000 in the bank, and that was without raising fees. And Highway Commissioner, let's talk about that for just a second. Jack Waxweiler, I'm sure you know that name. He was the Highway Commissioner for the last 15 and a half years. He just recently retired. The end of December, did an outstanding job. I mean, you got to give the guy credit. I've known him for years. And it's going to take some big shoes to fill, though, to follow up what Jack started, and I think that I know I can do it. And I'm going to use the strategy that I used in Lockport baseball, and how we got so much done without raising fees was we never settle. We never get comfortable where we're at. We have to research new ways of doing things, and with our children today and as smart as they are and science and all that other stuff, we can go online and we can research certain things. I'm about done. We can research certain things like pre-wedding. They're even using eco-friendly beet juice to put down on the roads before it snows. Anyways, I'm out of time. If you have any questions, please ask me. I would appreciate your vote on April 9th, and I know I can do a very good job for you.
Any questions for either of the candidates for Lockport Township Highway Commissioner? Okay. Nor Blikar and John Zielinski. Like I said, my list is a mess. I'm sorry. Thanks, gentlemen, very much, and good luck to both of you on the 9th of April. We have a couple of township candidates now that are either running unopposed or their opponent is not here. The first is I'm going to get this right. I am. Debbie Mason, who is our current Lockport Township Assessor. Debbie, would you like to say hello? Our next is our Township Collector candidate, Gordon Butler. Gordon?
Good evening. I'd like to thank the residents for having this forum this evening. My name is Gordon Butler, and I'm seeking the position for a Township Collector. I'm a lifelong resident of Will County. Been a resident of Lockport Township and Crest Hill for almost a decade now. I am married to my wife, Judy, and I have 3 stepdaughters. Education background, I graduated from Joliet Junior College. I graduated also from Governor State University. Some of my background, as for political background and experience, I've been a planning commissioner for the past 7 years for the city of Crest Hill, and I'm serving my 3rd term there. And you might know me from 2011. I was elected to the White Oaks Library District as a trustee. I'm serving my second year right now. I also am a participating member of all 3 areas of Chamber of Commerce. As for community service-wise, I'm a member of the Lions Club. I've been a member there for about the past 9 years. And the reason I'm running for collector is to be more involved in local government. I think with my experience I already have, that I could, contribute. And that's about it. If you have any questions, it's
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Our other candidate, Dean Morelli, had not signed in yet. He came in late, so his opponent, Dean Morelli, a candidate for Township Collector.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for the invitation tonight. My name again is Dean Morelli. I am currently the collector of Lockport Township and a candidate for the election in April. A little background on myself. I am a lifelong Lockport resident. I am married to my wife Robin and have been for 27 years. We have 1 adult child who attended Lockport Township High School and Loyola University, who I'm very proud of. My work background, I was employed with the Will County Sheriff's Department for almost 24 years until my recent retirement. While on the Sheriff's Department, I was a patrol officer, a juvenile officer, a community-orientated police officer, along with a detective for my last 11 years. I also was a part of our SOG team, which is also known as a SWAT team, for 20 years, where I started as a tactical team member, and upon my retirement, I was the commander of the team. My reason for running for collector is to be more involved with the township government. I feel that I am a strong candidate due to my background with law enforcement, with the dealing with the community for so many years, along with the problem solving and also the dealing with the public. Obviously, I don't have to tell you, with the background in policing, not only do we deal with juvenile problems and with their criminal background, but also juvenile problems with parents, abuse, and stuff like that. And then we dealt with the elderly. We had a lot of dealings with elderly crime, which was a big problem, which needed attention, and I was one of the first officers who stepped forward, who started a township, not only township, but city and local government meeting through the county. We call it the Will County Metro Meeting, which would gather all the departments together for a local meeting where they could exchange information. That way, things wouldn't fall through the cracks. I feel that that background will definitely help me in this position, and I would appreciate your vote come April. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Any questions for either of the township collector candidates? Okay, now we move on to the township trustees. There are a multitude of candidates for trustee, so we're just kind of going to work our way down the list. Melissa Chauvin?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening. I want to thank you for having us all here to speak tonight and have the opportunity to get to meet you all. My name's Melissa Chauvin, and I'm running for Lockport Township trustee. I've lived in Crest Hill and Lockport Township for most of my life. My family moved into living in Lockport Township in the 1970s, but we've been working in and around Lockport Township since the 40s. My family's left a legacy of having a positive impact on people in the community in the area, and I'd like to continue on that positive impact in my future, and that is why I would like your vote for Lockport Township trustee. Trustees make decisions on how your tax dollars are spent, so you want somebody that has a financial background. I've spent 20 years working in business, 10 of which have been working in accounting. I've worked in different sizes of companies, from sole proprietorships to international corporations. Trustees make decisions that affect your everyday lives. Past 7 years I've been working in social services. I've had an opportunity to get out there, get in the community, meet with the people, and see some of the individual problems and the family problems people are having. I have an MA in psychology and community counseling, and I'm working on a doctorate in the psychology of criminal and justice systems. The position as a trustee is a position of leadership, and that's why this is important. We are leadership within our community. Working as a therapist and in social services, you also have to be a leader in your community because you're leading and guiding others to learn more about communication skills and coping skills, collaboration and problem solving, and how to overcome obstacles in order to succeed. People, all of you out there, you create our community. Without the people in the community, we don't have a township or township government. So it's important that the township officials gather the people together to collaborate and work together on creating a stronger community. Township government's the level of government that each one of you can actually come in and take a part of and have an influence over. Unlike other governments, the higher up you go, the less influence we seem to have. But if we all get together and work together, and the people and the township government collaborate, we can make our voice be heard at higher and higher levels and have a better impact on our own community. I keep talking about strength in communities. Why is that important? It's really important to have a stronger community. Over the past 40 years, I've seen the actual community idea get weaker and weaker, and when you see the community idea get weaker and weaker, what you see is the crime rate go higher and higher. Our kids are getting lost. I've worked with a lot of our juveniles out there. Our crime rate has risen quite a bit over the past 20 years, and that is a parent, a grandparent, and a citizen of Lockport Township really concerns me, especially when I've worked with some of those kids. I believe that coming together to build a stronger community, we can also work towards reducing the crime rate so that we don't end up like Chicago in another 20 years. So I'd really appreciate your vote for me and my team. Running for Lockport Township trustee, Melissa Chauvin. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Our next candidate is Barb Stefanik Boyce. Barb? Did I get the middle one right?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. I am Barb Boyce. I am a lifetime resident of Lockport Township. I am a Democrat running for Lockport Township trustee, and I feel that I am extremely dedicated to our community. And I have worked in the Lockport Township Clerk's office for over 5 years. I've assisted with early voting, and I've assisted the public. I would like to now expand my services to help be a part of making decisions at our local level. And also, I would like to work with the seniors of our community to see exactly what their needs are. I would just like to remind everyone that early voting starts March 25th and goes through April 6th. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, Saturday, April 6th, we're going to be open 9 to 12. We will not be open Good Friday, or we will not be open March 30th, which is Saturday. Voting takes place in Clerk Mustro's office at Lockport Township. I would be honored to represent Lockport Township as a trustee and work with others officials to take Lockport Township into the future. And thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Our next candidate is Ray Simplinski. Ray?
Good evening. I'd like to thank the civic community for the committee for this opportunity, and I'd like to thank all of you who have taken the time out of your day to become educated, knowledgeable voters. Whether I see your vote or I don't, this shows a lot of community pride and a lot of dedication. My name, as they said, is Ray Simplinski. I am a candidate for Lockport Township trustee. I'm also the father of 5 daughters and grandfather of 12 children, 2 of which are in the place of higher learning within Lockport Township, Lewis College. Following the graduation from college, I was then employed by a municipal engineer for 24 years, working throughout Lockport Township, Romeoville, Crest Hill, and Lockport. I'm not demographically or characteristically challenged. I believe that we can pretty much support proper and equitable representation no matter where you live. I have in the past also been Director of Public Works in the City of Crest Hill and their Building Commissioner. I've also then left that position for the county where I've been the last 6 years. I'm currently your county chief building official. I take care of and direct the Will County Building Division, and each day we govern, review, and inspect all of the construction in unincorporated Will County through the 846 square miles and make sure that things are built correctly, safely, and most cost effectively. I have served this area as a county board member, as a Forest Preserve Commissioner. I've been the executive's appointment to what was NIPSI, which is now CMAP, the Northeastern Illinois Planning Commission, where I sat on 2 different commissions and also was the Regional Greenways officer for this area. I have striven to do what my father had taught me and all of his other children and my children as well, to leave something better for you being there, whether it be fishing someplace and gathering up the trash someone else left, or at the school board level at Cheney Manji, where we personally, myself included, lobbied downstate, not on lobby day, but went down there, and if you look at District 88 and the Illinois state budget, you'll find it's the only district in the state of Illinois that has its own line item on a state budget because of the impact of Stateville Prison. As a county board member, in 1992, there was a resolution passed, the first in county board history, that froze county board salaries for a period of 10 years. That was my resolution. I am very cost effective in what I do, and when I was at City of Crest Hill, having worked for the municipal engineer, the mayor sought the opportunity, a Republican, Don Randage, to appoint me, the Public Works Director, because he knew I had the ability to do the data collection. I had drawn their plans. I had also done their wells and wastewater. And with his hiring of me, he was able to not pay the money to the engineer. So with one broad stroke, I became the person who would lay out at least 2 miles of roadway, taught my staff to do the minimal engineering that it took to get the job done, and became more cost effective once again. My goal in this is, once again, as my father told me, to leave anything you enter a better place. I would like the opportunity to leave knowing that I've given you transparency, I've allowed you to look at us, hopefully, in a more informed and enlightened way, continuing on what you've done tonight. So I thank you very much for your time, and I would appreciate your consideration in April. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Our next candidate for Lockport Township trustee is Grant Spooner.
thought I was having trouble getting up here. The suit kind of shrank when I was in my closet. Hi, I'm Grant Spooner. I'm running for Lockport Township trustee. I guess the one thing I want to bring out, I'm not related to anybody that's ever, I know, not close enough, thank you. I'm not related to anybody that's ever been in public office around here or extended family. I'm an accountant, I'm not a politician, and I'm not a great public speaker, as you will all find out. Married with 3 adult children. I've been married to this wife for 12 years. I was single with 3 little kids for about 12 years. And I really don't know how I got done what I did. It included building a house. Education at DePaul University, accounting, South Suburban College of Business, Joliet Junior College, HVAC, Case Reserve University, counterterrorism, University of Findlay, groundwater hydrology, occupations, retired investigative accountant for U.S. Treasury, retired U.S. Coast Guard, and I served between 1961 to 2002, ending as a lieutenant. Most of that was harbor security, search and rescue, and the special agent for criminal investigator. Currently, I do taxes. I'm an enrolled agent. I prepare taxes, and I represent people before the IRS. I'm drifting from the microphone. I also do HVAC, repair, heating and air conditioning. I'm an election field tech for Nancy Boots for the elections. I cover about 8 precincts in southern Joliet. Current volunteer positions, I produce a lot of television. You may see some of my stuff on Romeoville television, Crest Hill, Lockport. I cover Will County meetings, basically land use, planning and zoning, county board, forest preserve. And recently, I should have brought them tonight for the Romeoville television. We had one on concealed carry for the Legislation and Judicial Committee. I'm also an officer with the Lockport EMA. I'm in Will County EMA Search and Rescue, and Friends of the White Oak Library District. Past positions, I was a trustee for the Will County Humane Society, which is our non-kill shelter. I was a director for Will County Historical Society and the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary. My current affiliations, Good Shepherd Church, Lockport Lions Club, ARP, Master Mason, Shriner, American Legion, John Olson Post, and NRA. Previous union affiliations were IBEW Local 134 and NTEDU, which is National Treasury Unions Association. How am I doing on time? Got it all. All right, I do have some points afterwards of what I think a trustee should be able to do and what their duties are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grant. Our next candidate for Lockport Township trustee is John Badisich.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing us to come here this evening and kind of talk about ourselves a little bit. My name is John Badisich. I am currently the Lockport Township, one of the Lockport Township trustees. Prior to that, I was the Lockport Township collector and a precinct committeeman in precinct number 20 for about the last 5 years. I am married for the last 23 years to my old high school, I shouldn't say old, high school sweetheart. She's not here. And hopefully she doesn't see Romeoville TV either. I have 2 wonderful children, 16-year-old son, Jake, he attends Joliet Catholic Academy, and a 11-year-old son that attends St. Ray's in Joliet. As far as my education, I graduated from Lockport Township High School. I then went on to Joliet Junior College, and I received a master's degree from Lewis University in public administration. My full-time job is I'm a Lockport Township Fire District paramedic lieutenant, and it's good to see one of my teachers here that used to teach me at Lockport also. But I've been there for a little over 27 years, and I've been serving this community since basically 1981 when I became a paramedic. I worked at Romeoville Fire Department for approximately 3 years. From there, I went to Homer Fire District for a short time, and then I was hired by Lockport Township Fire District. One of the reasons, I asked myself about 5 years ago, what am I going to do when I retire? And I've been serving the citizens of Lockport Township for so long, and serving the senior communities for so long, I decided to stay and do something that I enjoy, and that's basically serving the public. When I look back 5 years ago, what I can do, and I decided what level, village, city, or township. And one of the reasons I decided to go the township route was basically we're here for the people. Our party here is basically for you guys. We don't have control really over the police departments. We have a Will County Police Department, we have Romeoville Police Department, Crest Hill, and Lockport. We have communications with them, but they're their own entity. And a little bit of background about my family is when I was a small child, my grandfather, Mike Gale, served as an alderman of Crest Hill. And I remember as a young boy going over on election nights and having the celebrations and when he won his elections. One of the saddest nights is when he lost. And the pride that he showed in his community and the disappointment that I saw in him, how he loved Crest Hill. Even when he wasn't an alderman, he went on and was in basically took care of the garden that's out in front of Crest Hill now. My mom then became involved in politics, and she went on to be the first alderwoman of Crest Hill, then went on to become involved in Lockport Township also. She ended up retiring as a supervisor. And I go back to the whole family. I have an Uncle Tom Girani, who is now currently is a retired Joliet firefighter, and he is now the mayor of Joliet. So it's kind of in my blood, and there's more out there, and not like the past gentleman said there's no relatives and cousins. I got a bunch. But, it's something like in the fire service. I have 2 uncles that are firefighters. I have a brother that's a firefighter. I have my family that's involved in politics, and it's basically in our blood. We're here to serve the people. I'm here to serve you. My job as trustee is to watch that budget, make sure the highway department spends its money correctly, and the supervisor spends the money correctly, and I'm going to continue to make sure that I do a good job along with the other 3 trustees also. Thank you for your time. Please vote for me April 9th. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Our next candidate for Lockport Township trustee is Mike Lewandowski.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you also for giving us this opportunity to speak before you this evening. My name is Michael Lewandowski. Perhaps you know some of my relatives. We go back pretty far, back to like Noah, and then before that, Adam and Eve. So otherwise, just remember my last name, especially on voting day. A little bit about myself. I was born in Chicago. Please don't hold that against me. My dad was working in Lamont, and when I was 9 years old, they decided to move out to this area. And once I saw the property that they had, I begged them to move to Lockport. I have 3 acres lived. We have a creek in the backyard, and I thought, what an opportunity to leave the concrete and steel and move to beautiful nature. And as I've grown up, I've seen that this area has grown from a rural area, because when we moved out here, we thought we were farmers, into a more of a residential area. And one of our neighbors was always against growth and building. And as I grew up, I realized that it's not about the type of change that you have, it's the change that you do have, because you cannot stop time. We're all growing up, maturing, getting older. We're seeing our families grow up and do the same thing. We just have to make sure that our community is on the right track, in the right direction, in order to make it better for the next generation. And that's why I became involved in government, and that's why I would like to serve the community as a trustee. So things about me in my personal life. I have a daughter who's about to graduate from high school. My regular day job is making orchestra harps, you know, the big orchestra harps. That's what I do full time. I also sell real estate at Coldwell Banker, and I'm elected precinct committeeman. I think this is my third or fourth term. I also serve on the high school board. So if you have any additional questions about me, I'd be happy to answer them. But I just want to thank you all for the service that you've done to our community. I also listen to talk radio a lot, so I was the one that told all my coworkers about the attacks on September 11th, and I was the one that passed the word the other day that white smoke was blowing. White smoke was blowing. And so they all tuned in their radios to what I was listening to, and it's pretty exciting because I try to keep up on current events, not only nationally but locally as well, as best I possibly can. Can't say I'm an expert on everything. Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert on everything. I would say I try to keep informed as I can. That would be all that I would say. Once again, I thank you for all of your hard work throughout your lifetime, raising your families, doing the good thing, and especially showing up here because you're the informed voters. And these are the votes that we need, and you'll pass my name along to your friends, your family. I don't know who to vote for. What about this candidate? What about that candidate? You just have to say, vote for Michael Lewandowski. He knows what he's doing. All right? Thank you very much.
And our next candidate for Lockport Township trustee is Bill Sterling.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Like Michael said, it's nice to see people who care, and that's why you're all here, and that's why I'm here. I moved to Lockport. I built my own house. I'm a union carpenter, just retired in 2011. I actually built my house with a bunch of other carpenters. We traded time. We worked together because we were friends and neighbors. And I built my house with my friends, trading off our labor so we could build each other's houses. And that's what community is. And later on, I built a church in Lockport with all volunteer help. And it's now one of the biggest churches in Illinois. It's Parkview Community Church over on Farrell. And that was built with volunteer labor. And I was one of the guys involved because I was about the only carpenter. It was kind of a frightening experience, but God was with us, and it went up and no one got hurt. And it's now a vibrant part of my community, which I call home. I'm married for 32 years to my wife. I raised 4 adult children now. We homeschooled them. One of them is a pharmacist, so I guess we did okay. I now have 5 grandchildren living in the township. I have a grandchild in Texas and one on the way in Plainfield. I decided to get involved because I have already built my home here. I call this my community. I appreciate families who dedicated their lives, especially firefighters. And I understand that Township is the foundation block of our government that was founded by men who believed in each other and that community is what's important. And it's still like that. It's still like that. And you know, the Romans and the Greeks, 2 of the civilizations that our whole Western culture came from, they knew too that term limits are real important. And lifetime politicians sometimes think like I grew up in Chicago, Mayor Daley. I thought he owned the city. I really did, and so did he. And And you know what? It's human nature. And what we need is we need more people involved, like my friends helping me build my house. We need more volunteers helping each other. We need neighbors to know who their neighbors are. I was at the last township meeting. There was 4 people there besides the elected officials, and unfortunately all 4 of them were people running for office. I would like to see the township meetings full of citizens who want to be involved to see where their tax dollars are going. And so we have a website. Yeah, that's great, but we need, like, you guys invited me here to tell you what I think. If you elect me, I promise I'll come here every month and tell you what we plan to do and ask each one of you, whoever has a good idea, to help me be informed of what your needs are, and so I can help you build this community, and you can help me build my community. That's what township government should be. That's what I want it to be, and that's why I decided to run. So please vote for me on April 9th, and I hope to see a lot more of all of you.
Thank you. I believe that concludes all of our candidates for Lockport Township. So now we're going to take questions for all of the Lockport Township candidates. So if they could all kind of stand up here and you can get a good look at them all. And does anyone have any questions for any of the candidates for Lockport? Please, again, step up to the microphone, ask your question. Thank you.
I didn't get the candidate's name, but the candidate with the IBEW affiliation, I'd like to hear his 4 points that he mentioned.
My 4 points of the trustees, what they should be doing. Oh, Grant Spooner, Lockport Township trustee, candidate. My points about what a trustee should do is basically most of your actions in your government. I attend a lot of meetings. I've been to, I think, 6, 7 meetings this week doing the TV broadcast. Most of your political actions start in committees. That's why it's important to attend committee meetings, and that's why I do land use committee, I do planning and zoning committee, because that's where all the actions take place. When they work their way up the chain, and it gets to like the workshops, where then the committees discuss it with the other members, in this case trustees or other board members. And from the workshops, it moves into your voting sections. And then they take action. Usually it's very quick. You get up there, they bring it up, and they vote on it. So if a resident is at these meetings, they really don't know what happened. So as far as trustees go, and it works in other, I do Homer Township trustee meetings. I've been doing them for about 15 years. So I'm pretty familiar with how township government runs. The trustees there each chair a committee. And it may be for the seniors. I was trying to come up with some examples. Parks and Rec, which we don't have in Lockport. They have a committee for the charitable outreach. They have a seniors committee, which I think I already said. And they also have one for the emergency management. How does the township react when there's an emergency? How are their plans implemented? You do have sirens, but a lot of those sirens are managed by Lockport EMA, which I'm a part of. So the trustees should be in charge of each of these committees. The committee should come together in the workshops and discuss it with the other board members or other trustees, and then bring it to the regular meeting for a vote. And those are my suggestions.
As far as the Lockport Township goes, you know, as I said earlier, we're here for the seniors, we're here for the youth, we're here for the middle-aged, we're here for the people who don't live in gated communities. It's basically a government that we're for all the people. We recently gave over $4,000 worth of scholarships to 4 high school students to move on and pursue their career in college. We have, I heard talk about how we bring the community together. We have cruise night, Monday nights at Central Square in Lockport, where we have farmers market, brings people from all ages. We have our food meals that we distribute and help distribute to the seniors. So there's a lot of little things that basically makes this township strong and basically helps all the people. So we're all working together, and you might not see it living in a village of Romeoville or Crest Hill, but it's out there, and it's out there for everybody, not just the seniors, but from the youth on up. We're investing in our community, and that's a way to invest. We're investing in our youth, and that's going to make it. And we talk about crime and everything. We invest in our youth. It's going to help us all in the long run. Thanks.
Any other questions for any of the candidates? Yeah, George. You know the drill. Go to the microphone.
Hi, everybody. I have it's really not a question, it's a matter of a show of hands, because I don't need everybody to speak. But we talked about transparency a lot. You know, we heard that from many, many politicians. And the fact was mentioned that we do not show the board meetings of Lockport Township here in Romeoville. So I'd like a show of hands on those who get elected would then go ahead and start showing those meetings on our Romeoville Public Television. Really? And we haven't done this before. Huh?
Yeah, and you know, I think that's a great idea, and I think it's just a jurisdictional thing. The folks from Romeoville Public Television are here tonight, and I have a confident feeling that if they were supplied with the meetings, that, you know, we could make that happen. So maybe we've actually solved a problem tonight. Yeah, Grant.
Like I said, I do a lot of the meetings. I have a website of my own that I put on YouTube, so you can watch the meetings at your own leisure rather than waiting for them to come on. Romeoville has their own website on YouTube also, for you can watch the meetings there at your own speed. Just for informational point, mine is WC Videos 1, which stands for Will County Videos. And I don't know what your website is.
It's a YouTube channel, but
well, mine is YouTube also.
We only play our own content, stuff that we create. So the Lockport Township meetings, we don't play those on our YouTube channel, but we would play those on our public television station.
Right, but what's the site on YouTube?
It's just a YouTube channel, but it's just RPTV06.
RPT06.
RPTV06.
RPTV06. So you can watch them at your own leisure.
I'm Norbert Leiker, and I've been here the longest of all the candidates. The only one that's going to have more time to me is George Mushrow, and he had a kidney taken out. We've had our board meetings taped for over 10, 12 years. You are more than welcome. I believe the problem is in Comcast in your territory. We have an open door. You can come in and you can question anything you'd like at the board meeting. You can sit. There is a spot on the agenda for citizens to address the board. It's there for you. It's a territorial thing. Lockport and Crest Hill does have our tapings. If your Romeoville cable TV can make arrangements where it's filmed in Lockport, I'm sure you'll get a copy of the tape and we will be on. But we want you to come to the meetings. And there's sometimes, yes, there is 4 people. Come. We welcome the opportunity to let you see what your government's all about and how well of a job we do. Thank you.
I'll try to be very brief. Once again, my name is Ray Simplinski, and I agree with Mr. Spooner. The land use department is the place where it happens in Will County. Building division is part of land use. And building division, as well as the 4 other divisions that make up land use, were given the state award for transparency. And I was hoping to bring some of that with me to allow us to reach out, to interact a little more. Not so much come to the meeting. Spending 15 years on a little school board and being the larger part of a tax base, we had almost no one, if no one, attend. So we know it's not easy to come out in the middle of the night to a meeting. You should be able to turn on your television set or go to your computer, because we know we're all getting more electronically literate. My mother has an iPhone, and she's been using it for years because my grandparents were deaf. So I learned when I was young. We communicate. We would like you to communicate with us as well. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Are there any other questions for the candidates for Lockport Township? I'd like all the candidates for Lockport Township to please stand. This is the Township United. Is that your? United Township, right? Well, .org. And these are your Democratic candidates for Lockport Township. I want to thank you all very much for coming out tonight. We sure appreciate it. We hope you can stay now that you're off the camera, so to speak. There's coffee, there's cake, relax, and after the conclusion of tonight, I'm sure our folks would love to engage you in questions on a one-on-one basis. Thank you again very much. This is just one of the things, you know, as you drive down Weber Road, you see all of a sudden the political shift from Lockport Township to DuPage Township, and it's unfortunately one of the geographical anomalies of Romeoville that we're split into a bunch of different school districts and a couple of different townships, and so it makes it really awkward to have a homogeneous kind of approach to things sometimes. I would now like to introduce and bring up to the podium the candidates for Romeoville Village Trustees. The first of those, and there are 5 of them tonight, you will be electing 3 on April the 9th, is Carl Chirillo. Carl?
I too would first like to thank Grand Haven community for having us here tonight. This is a great venue for you to get to know us and who we are in order to make that informed decision on April 9th. My name is Carl Chirillo, and I am candidate for trustee for the Village of Romeoville. My wife Phyllis and I have been married for 45 years come July of this year, and we have lived in Romeoville for the past 37 years. We raised 3 wonderful children, all have graduated from Romeoville High School, and all are married with families of their own today. Very fortunate for us, our children have graced us with 9 grandchildren and 1 great-grandson, and we love them all. Briefly, some of my work history is I've worked in construction as a journeyman pipe fitter in Local 597 in Chicago. I worked in the maintenance field for many years. Last 10 years I was doing maintenance work. I worked for the Valley View School District. I worked part-time for the Romeoville Fire Department from 1979 to 1990, eventually becoming the deputy chief. I worked with John Bodazich. In June of 1990, I was hired as the first full-time chief with the Village of Romeoville. And I held that position until, working under 3 mayors, until June of 2004. In June 2004, I left Romeoville and I was hired as the fire chief administrator at the Lamont Fire District, and will retire from that position on August 15th of this year at a very nice age of 66. As a fire chief, I'm very proud to tell you that we never, ever went over budget, and in fact had to do more with less many of the years working here at Romeoville due to financial issues back in the 90s, but the village did work through them. I've used my experiences at Lamont to help them remain fiscally responsible, and in fact today they have over a $2.3 million reserve fund. Something I pledge to all of you, that I will be a fiscal watchdog for our residents if elected. I have become very good at watching where money is spent and have looked hard at spending the money on the real needs versus someone's wants. It is tough to say no, but because of what we have done in Lamont, they are in good shape. If elected, I will lead by example. I've had a great career as a fire chief. We have implemented many programs and, in fact, have been a speaker at 2 Fire Protection District conferences, most recently in February in Lombard. There's a number of issues I am worried about today, but due to time, and Joe's going to be going like this to me in a minute, a couple of them are 4 years ago, our village's tax rate was a lot lower than what it is today. And we got to watch this. We got to do what we can to keep it lowered. Over the years, I've always heard the mayor say that I've lowered your tax rate, I've lowered your tax rate. Well, it's kind of hard to do that today, but that's something that I want to watch. Another issue, I've spoken with some of my friends here from Grand Haven, is you guys pay taxes, but really don't get all the services. Your snow is not plowed, your streets not repaired, and this needs to be looked at closely, and if elected, I pledge to do just that and do what we can to get maybe even taxes rebated. Not all, but maybe some. Again, because 3 minutes is just not enough time to discuss the other issues we have, I would like to invite you to come to meet with me at At's and Ice Pizza in Romeoville, 135th and 53, on Tuesday, March 19th at 4 p.m. Come on for pizza, pop, coffee. It's not a fundraiser. Just come. I'll cover the bill. I want to have the opportunity to sit one-on-one with you people and talk with you. As a senior citizen myself, and I'm going to be on a fixed income come August. I have a lot of concerns, and I want to hear some of your concerns too. We are passing out flyers tonight and cards that will tell you how you can contact me if you can't make it next week. Email me, call me. Joe's giving it. Again, as a fellow senior citizen who will be on that fixed income later this year, I hope to be able to count on your support, and I am looking forward to being able to work for the village of Romeoville again, and I hope that I can count on your vote on April 9th. Thank you again for having us.
Thank you, Carl. Just a reminder, we're going to be taking questions from all of the trustee candidates at the conclusion of all their presentations. Our next candidate is incumbent Brian Clancy, Sr.
Hi. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Brian Clancy, Sr., and I moved to Romeoville in 1959 with my family. So yes, I've seen our village grow to what it is today, and I would love to see it continue growing. I was appointed to the village board in 2008 and re-elected in 2009. Over the past years of being a resident of Romeoville, I've been very involved in the community. I am a very active member at St. Andrew's Church, where I've been an usher for 42 years. I served on many boards in town, planning and zoning, zoning board of appeals, and still currently serving as the liaison to the Beautification, Parks and Rec Center for the village. I also serve as one of the advisors at the board of Will County Career Center in the automotive section. I am also a member of the Knights of Columbus at St. Andrews and a chartered member of the Romeoville Lions Club. I have been a volunteer for many years in Romeoville as far as helping baseball from T-ball all the way up to high school. And a lot of you may have remembered my parents when they were around. They dedicated a lot of their time to St. Andrews and also to the youth in Romeoville by having different groups when they were younger. And we do miss them tremendously. And my beautiful wife, Linda, also grew up in Romeoville. Her family moved in 1959. We've been happily married for 34 years and counting. She currently works as a preschool teacher at the Romeoville Rec Center, where she's been working for about 14 years. Linda and I have 2 great children. I guess I shouldn't say children, they're young adults now. Our daughter, Adrian, and our son, Brian Jr. And for the last 5 years as trustee, it's been an honor and a blessing to work and serve the people of Romeoville. It's unbelievable how Romeoville has grown in the past 54 years that I've seen it. So yes, as a town, we've had our highs, we've had our lows, just like any other city, state, and country. But I feel, like I said in the past, Romeoville has no ceiling on what we could achieve. Like some of the achievements we have over the last 5 years, we have maintained a balanced budget every year, created the first property tax rebate program in Romeoville. And let's not forget, how about that 42% reduction on electric supply on the supply bill? And because we are a great team, we want to keep working for you people of Romeoville. So in closing, let me say the Romeoville United Party will continue on that vision of being good and will promote making Romeoville the community to grow. So as we ask you for your support on April 9th, vote for proven leadership with John Nope for mayor, Joe Chavez, Dave Richards, and myself, Brian Clancy, for trustee. Thank you, and go Romeoville.
Thank you. Our next candidate for village trustee is Mr. Richard Love.
Hello, good evening. How we doing? As I was introduced, my name is Richard Love. Real quickly on my background, I'm supported here tonight by my beautiful wife, Karen. We've been married over 20 years now. I grew up in Chicago. When I was 17, I joined the military. So I've been in the military since I was 17. As of 14 days ago, I've been retired from the military. So after 21 years of service, thank you. I came back here to Illinois after almost close to 9 years of active duty military service to run the recruiting and retention operations here for the Illinois National Guard in Illinois. Through that, I got assigned here to this area and pretty much fell in love with Romeoville. So 10 years ago, myself and my family moved here to Romeoville, and we were welcomed with open arms. We've seen the growth. We're really excited about being part of this community. And we decided to plant roots here, that this is where we're going to live, and this is where we're going to continue to raise our children and hopefully raise our grandchildren. Hopefully not anytime soon, I have an 18-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old daughter. Our 18-year-old graduated from Romeoville High School. Our 11-year-old currently goes to AVM middle school. So through my time in the military, I've always rose very quickly in leadership positions. As a 17-year-old, I turned 18 in basic training. On my 19th birthday in Fort Irwin, California, going through desert training, I got my first leadership position. I was a squad leader. Since then, never looked back. Here in Illinois, I've achieved the rank of first sergeant. I deployed to Afghanistan several years ago. There, I had a unique mission. I was a combat advisor to the Polish Army. So, yeah, it was quite an experience. So I lived in Poland with them for 2 months, trained them up, and deployed with them to Afghanistan. And kind of, what was my job? There was 3 Americans there on a Polish base. So basically, as Americans, we were funding the war. So one of my responsibilities there is not just being out on combat patrols with them, but to understand the money that was coming in. How does it, how do we spend that money? Because it's our tax dollars. It wasn't theirs. So again, it's not a blank check. That's how I really got involved in understanding how much money was actually moving around. There was a combat patrol I was on, and fast story, fast forward. I've been really clear to me it was time to retire from the military. I was getting kind of a little older, and when you hit 25, you're kind of like middle-aged in the military. When you hit 40, you're old age in the military, right? It's time to move on. I raised a lot of great soldiers to take my place. Came here, decided to transition out of the military. Got involved in helping people with their personal finances. I do 3 things for family. I've been doing this for interning for about 6 months, and been doing this for the last 6 months. I help people get out of debt. I help them save for retirement and minimize their taxation in the future. This way you don't, live too long and outlive your money. One of the biggest concerns for our senior community. And the other thing is to leave a family legacy. Take those same skills and translate that into local government, it's the same thing. These are our tax dollars. As a trustee, we have to be good stewards of our dollars. I see the expansion growth here in Romeoville. We're really excited about it, but there are some dangers that need to be addressed. And some of those things, being an independent voice, right? It's not just an up and down vote, yes, yes, yes. Our last board meeting, the input on a major expansion, a major expenditure in our village was given, and the input was by 3 people, 3 residents of Romeoville. So I understand the concerns. Again, we shouldn't be here, right, just on election day. You shouldn't see us 3 months or 3 weeks before election. You should see us every month so we can speak for the people. And that's what I plan on doing here as an independent voice here for Romeoville as a trustee. So I'll be here later. Any questions you have, I'll entertain those. I'll stay later. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next candidate for village trustee is incumbent Dave Richards.
Good evening, everybody. Excuse me. My name is Dave Richards, and I am currently a trustee with the Village of Romeoville. And I want to thank the residents of Grand Haven for organizing this event, giving me the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I would also like to thank you for the privilege and the honor of serving you for the last 5 years as a trustee. I've lived in Romeoville since 1988, and have been married to my wife Denise for 25 years in June. We have one daughter, Erin, who is attending Lewis University in Romeoville and is a graduate of Romeoville High School. I've been an active member of the community here for many years. I was elected to the St. Andrews School Board, elected president of that board for 6 years. I'm currently a member of the Knights of Columbus, the Hampton Park Social Athletic Club, Romeoville High School Athletic Boosters, a charter member of the Romeoville Lions Club, and I'm also the past treasurer of the Romeoville High School Band Boosters. My involvement with the village started with my appointment to the Beautification Commission, where I served for 15 years. One of Grand Haven's own residents now serves on that commission. And in fact, the current village board has increased the number of commissions and opportunities for residents to become an active member of their community. I currently serve as the liaison of the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals. I feel we need to hold contractors and developers to a higher standard with an emphasis on resident safety and accessibility, which helps with the long-term viability of our community. I also serve as a liaison to the Downtown Redevelopment Commission. This group, along with many other stakeholders, have spent years working on a viable plan to redevelop the Route 53 corridor. We've been able to rid our community of Crazy Rock. This was accomplished without overburdening taxpayers and will have a positive impact in our community in many ways, first and foremost with property values. We have made major improvements to the Route 53 corridor, both visual upgrades such as landscape islands, and we've assisted many businesses in that TIF district as well to develop. As a village trustee, I have utilized my management experience as well as my customer service skills to aid in guiding our community through some lean years. Due to the fiscal responsibility your village board has shown, we have been able to hold the line on taxes, as well as continue to maintain a level of services that the residents of Romeoville should expect and deserve. In fact, taxes for most residents in Romeoville, the ones we control as a village board anyway, have gone down or at least stayed consistent over the last 5 years. If you look at your tax bill at the village portion, you'll see that to be a true fact. We've been able to continue with economic development at a time when most towns have been sitting on the sidelines. With the leadership of Mayor John Noak, as well as fellow trustees Joe Chavez, Brian Clancy, and myself, we have balanced our budget every year we have been in office, as well as offered a property tax rebate the last 2 years. We have brought thousands of jobs to town and hundreds of new businesses. Your current village trustees have varying backgrounds and varying opinions. The Romeoville United team has been a strong advocate for all the residents of Romeoville, regardless of where you live in town. Please make a united vote for the betterment of the community. Vote Romeoville United on April 9th, working together for you, all the residents of Romeoville. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. And our final candidate for trustee is incumbent Jose Chavez.
Yes, thank you, Ken. I want to say thank you to Grand Haven community for this opportunity to speak to you. My name obviously is Jose Chavez. Please call me Joe. I've been in Romeoville since 1964. I'm happily married to my lovely wife, Carmen, for 23 years, and we have 4 children. Our oldest are twins. Our oldest son is a sophomore at Lewis University, pursuing a career in criminal justice. Our second son is serving our country in the U.S. Navy, pursuing a career as a hospital corpsman. Our daughter is a freshman at Lewis University. She has been accepted into the nursing program and pursues a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Then our youngest, he's in 3rd grade. Stop the clock. Stop the clock. Thank you. My community involvement has consisted of umpiring youth baseball, coaching youth baseball, youth basketball, girls youth volleyball, and most importantly, what I love best right now is coaching youth football in Romeoville. We won the Illinois Pop Warner Unlimited Division State Championship in 2010, and that was a great moment for those kids. I'm an active member of the St. Andrews Parish, Knights of Columbus, the Hampton Park SAT, Social Athletic Club, and a member of the Lions Club. I've served in Romeoville Village Planning and Zoning Commission, the Youth Outreach Commission. I'm currently the liaison to the Economic Development Commission, where we are working on a program titled Reshoring, which is a way to bring back manufacturing jobs back into Romeoville. Because I don't know if you guys are paying attention out there, there are a lot of jobs, a lot of American jobs coming back from overseas. So we want to grab that, and we want to bring them here. So we're working real strong on that. I also serve on the Fire and Police Commission. Through our restructuring methods with the police department, we now have more officers on the street than we did in the past. And I'm real proud of that. Under Mayor John Noak's leadership, with the support and guidance of the current trustees, which is Brian Clancy, Dave Richards, and myself, we have demonstrated proven leadership by implementing a higher ethics standards which does not allow for political hiring. We've provided transparent and accessible government. The village website is a great example of our transparency we have implemented. For example, you can review our entire budget online, colored pictures, everything, it's all there. Our property tax rebates for homeowners for 2 years in a row, reflecting a strong management of village finances. We have maintained a balanced budget for 4 years, which demonstrates fiscal responsibility. We have secured Sam's Club located on Weber, which will bring in more sales revenue. We are in the process of redeveloping Route 53, the old downtown, which is part of the historic Route 66. All this is being done without financing on the homeowners' backs. Creating an economic environment that proactively attracts businesses and investments, resulting in hundreds of new jobs to Romeoville, including manufacturing, retail, distribution, and office positions. With our new ion exchange plants, we've continued to enhance the water quality and sustain our water system for future developments. I believe we continue to be successful with the leadership of John Noak. He truly brings the village a great knowledge and experience in his business of government. We, the Romeoville United Party, with teamwork, and will continue to partner with our citizens, our schools, our employees, and our local businesses to continue to enhance the quality throughout our community. Please remember to vote for Romeoville United on April 9th. Thank you very much.
That concludes the candidates for village trustee. If anyone has any questions, please step to the microphone. Wow, none at all. You guys must have done a terrific job of covering everything. I would also like at this point to introduce our village clerk, Dr. Bernice Holloway.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Bernice Holloway, the current village clerk since 2010. I've been a Romeoville resident for 11 and a half years in the Lakewood Falls subdivision. My commitment to Romeoville, I have demonstrated my commitment by serving as a Planning and Zoning Commissioner, as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, and presently as Board Liaison to the Romeoville Senior Commission, the Valley View Community and School Leaders Group, a member of the Board of Directors of Community Service Council of Northern Will County, and a member of the Airport Road, Route 26, and Interstate 55 Interchange Advisory Group. So I wish to be re-elected as village clerk because I believe my training and experience can help make a difference. I believe I can help to continue the progress that has been made in Romeoville by working together for a better Romeoville. My experience, qualifications, and educational background. Briefly, I bring to the position of village clerk a broad background in management, supervision, leadership, and governance of schools. I hold a doctorate and master's degree in educational administration and supervision from Roosevelt University, a bachelor's degree in elementary education from Chicago State University, and an Associate of Arts degree from Chicago City Colleges. For 10 years, I served Roosevelt University in two major roles. First, as an assistant professor in the College of Education, teaching educational administration and leadership courses at both the master's and doctoral levels. My second role was as Associate Director of the Chicago Education Alliance, where I managed and coordinated a technology research and development grant from IBM, linking 4 universities and the Chicago Public Schools Teachers Union through online technology. For approximately 22 years in the public school system, I served in positions ranging from classroom teacher, school principal, gifted education administrator, to superintendent of District 88 schools in Cook County. I have provided professional consulting to local, regional, and state educational organizations, including the Chicago Principals and Administrators Association, the Golden Apple Foundation, and the Illinois State Board of Education. I too would like to thank you for inviting us to speak to you tonight. I also wish to thank you for your support in the past and ask that you support the entire Romeoville United team on April 9th. Again, thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Holloway is running unopposed. And now the moment I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for, our Mayor, John Noak.
Now you see this big pile and you're like, oh, is he really going to talk that? Like, no, I'm not. Let me just start by thanking the Grand Haven Civic Club. I've had the opportunity to come out here many times, and this organization is just an absolute asset to our community. I want to thank my wife and son. Obviously, it's a little late for his bedtime, so they're not out with us, but you guys have gotten to see them many, many times over the years. I really want to thank our board and our staff, and especially those who are here from our tonight with me, Trustee Richards, Trustee Clancy, and Trustee Chavez, and of course, our clerk, Bernice Holloway. I mean, it's very clear from her resume why she doesn't have an opponent. She's just probably the most qualified clerk in the state of Illinois. But I especially want to thank the residents, not only residents here in Grand Haven, but all the residents watching at home tonight or throughout the next few weeks as they view this program. Obviously, and you probably have heard that I love the opportunity to debate my opponent one-on-one. I think the public deserves to hear the issues in a one-on-one format. But hopefully, maybe that'll happen, but maybe it won't. But I'm here to talk to you tonight. A few years ago, we all sat in this room,
Many of you are with us. And I've been here a lot of times with you since. Sadly enough, we've lost a few friends, but we've made a lot of other ones. And it's been a great pleasure to serve as your mayor. It is one of the greatest honors of my life. I'm not going to go through my resume, because who would go through a resume after Bernie's? I mean, really. You can find it on the internet. You Google me, you're going to find me. You can find it on our website. I'm going to kind of go from that format tonight. I will talk about the most important part of my resume, was that my wife and I moved here over a decade ago. We bought not one house, but two houses, onto our second one, because we started to decide to get a little bigger. Now we have way too many cats, and those who have ever heard me tell stories, I can't even count how many we feed in the neighborhood anymore. And we got one really cute little boy, and we'll see about others, but I am not waiting as long as Joe. Not happening. But I'm going to talk about what's really important, and that's our community success and what we've accomplished. Over the last few years, we've created over 4,000 new jobs. We brought in hundreds of new businesses. You know, there's a lot of information and misinformation out there about our budget and finances these days. But I'm here to tell you that we've maintained a balanced budget every single year. In fact, we've had surpluses. We've increased our fund balance. We've reduced staff levels without reducing services. Our credit rating was increased by the bonding agencies. Now, you all heard the stories about the federal government and the state government. Theirs been going down. Ours went up. We created the first real estate tax rebate program in Romeoville's history. We were one of the only communities in the entire state of Illinois out of 1,300 to do this in this recession. You know, and I don't want to pick on the Lockport Fire Protection District, but if you look as a total percentage of your tax bill, they're almost as much as us. We're about 14% on average throughout the community. And that's key for you here, to think about what you're getting in return. I could go on about property taxes and where they're really at, but as the trustees have pointed out, for the vast majority of the community, they've leveled off or gone lower. The days of focusing on the rate are over. You need to focus on the total dollars you pay. And it's really, you should have always been focused on. Because while those rates, people told you in the past they were reducing your rate, your taxes were going up. You all remember that. Today, they're not. We continue to reinvest in the Route 53 and historic Route 666 corridor. We're about to begin the construction of a new train station. We'll be the only community in the metro system to get a new train system, all brought to you by grants. We're investing in our infrastructure, including our roads. Our water system was outlined by some of the trustees. We just received an award for water quality. Now, I understand it's still getting better, but that's why we need to continue to invest in it, because no one in this room wants to risk our water quality. We implemented an electric supply savings program that Trustee Clancy mentioned, saved you 42% on your supply side. And I'm going to say right here today that it was the people in this room, when I came out to speak to you about this program, that helped me to push and lobby to make sure it was all 100% renewable energy. And that idea came from this room in this very place when I visited you. We developed hundreds of new square feet, or hundreds of thousands, I should say, of new square feet of new retail and industrial space. Today, we have made Romeoville one of Illinois' premier communities. And we've done it all in the worst economy this nation's seen in over 50 years. We're launching new initiatives, because we're not done. We're starting a nanotech initiative with Lewis University. We're starting reshoring. Now, that's a new word. You probably never heard of it. That's bringing manufacturing jobs back into the United States, and we're putting Romeoville on the forefront of that. Our Economic Development Commission has got a game plan that they're putting in place right now so that we can attract those jobs coming back to this country here to Romeoville. We're going to start a local entrepreneur program to get our residents to reinvest in our own community. A true community that is successful has investment from its own residents. So we'll look at rebates on your fees and your permits, and your business licenses. There are many more initiatives that we're going to be implementing so we can create even thousands of more jobs in the years to come. I want to encourage you to call me anytime. And I know most of the people in this room, they Facebook me, they email me, they call me, and they know they do. But I'm telling you here today, call me, email me. If there's a question, if somebody tells you something on the street that just doesn't sound right, that's what we're there for. Call us. Call one of the trustees. Call our staff. We're there all the time. My wife will tell you I don't sleep. My staff will tell you that I email them at 3 o'clock in the morning. Call me. Or that's what our job is. Once again, I want to thank the Grand Haven Civic Club for hosting this important event tonight. I want to thank the audience here and at home again. And I want to ask for your vote on Tuesday, April 9th. For me, Mayor John Noak, and for our entire Romeoville United Party team, because it's teamwork that makes us successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Noak. You want to take a few questions? Microphone, please. Thank you. If you don't want to come to the mic, raise your hand. We've got pencils and 3x5 cards. We'll write down your question.
Kevin did this to me the other night. He always reminds me just how people hear the questions. Go ahead.
I'm going to ask a question that might be kind of nasty. If I heard on the radio on BBM, early in the morning that you had asked your opponent to debate you. And the radio announcer said he declined because he didn't know enough about Romeoville finances. Now, you just told us that it's on the website. Perhaps someone should advise him of that?
I think you just did.
And my serious question is, I also had an email from someone, and it's a valid email, that the developer of the strip mall over here filed for bankruptcy.
No, actually, the one you're referring to, it's a transfer in ownership. Yes, we're in a bankruptcy proceeding. The one she's referring to is the Target Kohl's thing. It's actually a positive, and we've been negotiating with the groups on it for some time now, and that's maybe why you saw the lights are out in the one section. And that's actually a positive because the group that had it, like many of the development groups throughout the entire region, and it was interesting because I was just at the International Conference of Shopping Centers speaking as a keynote panelist at their convention yesterday, 500 of the development officials throughout the Midwest. And we're talking a lot about these issues. And we're still in a transition on some of the properties, and this is an example of one of those properties where the previous owner didn't have the financial wherewithal to continue to maintain and to really thoroughly develop the site, didn't have the resources. So in this particular instance, this is actually a very positive thing, and Steve Rockwell from our staff actually spoke very well about it, and that the group that we've been negotiating to bring in actually is a very well-financed organization that's going to take over the center, and actually we really anticipate that a lot of investment. We've talked with them already. They're going to be putting a lot more money into it, and we'll probably see quite a few deals come back on the table that weren't able to be fully materialized because of the lack of resources from the previous group. But it's an excellent question. There really is no bad question. So it's actually a good story at the end of the day. So we're actually very excited about this. It's going to give us opportunity to finish out that development, which is actually a very successful development. You know, the heyday of development, people borrowed against other properties and borrowing against borrowing and borrowing, and that's part of what got us in this mess. And we're still working with everybody to get it out, but we're pretty close to getting through all the remaining properties in that. So, in fact, most all of our properties are either in ownership or about to be in ownership, which is really something Romeoville should be quite proud of. Very few communities can say that today. Did you have that streaming? I know you are. You were streaming that the whole time. Paul Heatherton, folks, avid Hawks fan. Anything else? Great. Well, once again, thank you all. And I look forward to serving you again for another 4 years and continuing to be your friend as well. So call me if you ever need it.
Thank you, Mayor Noak. I'd like my colleagues on the board of the Civic Club to please stand up. These are the folks who work hard to bring you these events every so often when there's an election in town. Thank you. Our friends and volunteers at Romeoville Public Television who volunteer their time in the evenings and weekends to bring you events like this. As was mentioned, early voting takes place. You never know what the weather is going to be like. You can vote by mail. I am also a registrar. If you have any issues with your registration, please, I'm happy to help you. And Joe is also registrar. So if you have any issues, if you can't get to the polls, let us know. Thank you again for coming. There's lots more cake and coffee. Thank you, Joe.